commercial break about Peter Schrager's dinner with the great Andy Reid. We'll have Peter talk about it, but we should, we'll throw it around what we think happened.
Yeah, he promised he was going to have a cool dinner. I figured it'd be Jim Tom Sula or something. He got the Super Bowl winning head coach. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Not bad at all.
Awesome. I want to know what they ate.
Yeah, and he's got all these interviews today. Cliff Kingsbury will be joining him, Zach Taylor, of course. So stay tuned right here on GMFE. Will Selva's out in the newsroom with more headlines. Who'd you have dinner with last night, Will?
Just with my beautiful family, that's all. But didn't go to Steak and Shake, didn't have that. But either way, had a beautiful dinner with my family, as always. And I can't wait to hear Schrager's stories about what he did with Andy Reid and Beach, etc. Of course, we'll have more of that throughout the program. Meanwhile, linebacker Vontaze Burfict wants to return to the field, and the NFL is granting him his wish. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reporting the league did so last month. Now, Burfict reinstated from a 12-game suspension for his helmet-to-helmet hit on Colts tight end Jack Doyle, as well as repeated violations of the player safety rules. According to Tom, Burfict is set to become an unrestricted free agent. Burfict's agent telling Tom his client spent the offseason watching tape and speaking with people around the league about the proper code of conduct. Now, like Burfict, defensive tackle Marcel Darius will be looking for a job as well. NFL Network and Saturday and Rappaport reporting the Jaguars intend to decline Darius' $19.5 million option. The team had until today to make the move. Core muscle surgery cut short his season after 6 games. Broncos safety Justin Simmons doesn't appear to be going anywhere, so says Simmons. He tells SiriusXM NFL Radio he expects to get franchise tagged by Denver. Simmons started all 16 games for a second straight season, compiling a career-high 4 interceptions. And the Bucs will be unveiling updated uniforms in April. Co-owner Ed Glazer saying they heard the feedback from their fans loud and clear, and this would be their 3rd different look in the franchise's 45-year history. The last time they changed their uniforms was back in 2014. They've had pewter, creamsicle, so we'll see what they come up with. But my suggestion would be to consult Nate Burleson and Vanilla Gorilla to get a better idea of what to do with these uniforms.
You're right about that. We'll work on that right after the commercial break.
Awesome.
There we go.
Are you guys excited about these?
It's a great move.
Yeah?
Yes, they listened to the people. They got the jerseys wrong. They're terrible. And now they're going to switch
Let's do it again.
Let's do it. That's great. Bravo.
Will, we love you. We'll talk to you in a bit. It is time for Believe It or Not. Here's your headlines. All eyes are on the quarterbacks, of course, at the Combine. They hit the field on Thursday. You can see it all right here, starting off at 4 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network. The measurements took place yesterday. The poking, the prodding, all of that, this kind of stuff was going on. And nothing was more newsworthy than Joe Burrow's hand size. He measured in at 9 inches. Now, the potential #1 pick, having some fun with it on Twitter, saying, considering retirement after I was informed the football will be slipping out of my tiny hands, please keep me in your thoughts. Okay, we get it. A lot of people are talking about his hands being small. Mahomes is saying, my hands are doing all right so far. I believe in you.
All right, Pat.
Believe it or not, guys, Joe Burrow's hand size is a concern.
No, I don't believe it at all. So this is one of those things where you pick out one small thing in a player's attributes, and you try to use that as a reason why you don't like him. Just look at his numbers. Look at what he did in college. My man had a ton of snaps and only lost 1 fumble over the course of last season. So as far as his hand size, just look at what he did on the field, and that'll prove that he can take care of the rock.
Haven't you found yourself a lot in the last 24 hours looking at your hands?
No.
I'm constantly. You know how they say your foot is the same length like as your forearm or something like that?
That's true?
Yeah, well, that's what they say. Or your hand is your. I constantly am looking at my face.
Pinky to thumb.
Yeah, that's what it is. Pinky to thumb, and I'm stretching it, and I haven't measured. It's been like since 6th grade, but. Here's the thing. This is all a joke. We're all part of the same Onion article about the hands.
Right.
Everyone, even deep inside, the very serious industry people, they know it's a little bit farcical.
Right.
Starting the Combine with hand size measurement, it's like an SNL cold open. It's a little levity. And it's not nothing, but when you start to see Patrick Mahomes, whose hands just gripped the Lombardi trophy, you don't move draft boards. No one is putting Joe Burrow down. It's farce, and it's fun. If you measured 6.5 inches, then we got a problem, like a carny, but no.
Carny.
Okay, then. Yeah, his hands are not, to your point, Kyle, freakishly small.
No.
Quarterbacks that have been successful with that hand size are Drew Lock, Jared Goff, Ryan Tannehill. Eli Manning's were only an eighth of an inch bigger. So, you know, I guess none of us are buying this.
It's fun. It's a fun. Yeah, I do.
There's a reason it's a thing, right? So give me the legit reason that I should care about this if I'm one of the 32 teams.
All right, so Jared Goff has had some fumbles, but that might be more to pocket presence than hand size. If you really wanted to bend over backwards to find a reason, is that there's never been more ball handling in the NFL by quarterbacks ever than there is right now.
Okay.
With all the jet motion and all the stuff that Baker does and Mahomes does, and it's a lot of this. But the ball just doesn't go flying out of guys' hands. It doesn't. Yeah. I mean, it really, it's not a thing.
Does he have enough of a track record for you to be convinced he's good with the ball?
Yeah, a couple seasons in the SEC. I think it was 4 fumbles last year, 5 the year before. Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, just 1 loss last season. I think
it's a fun topic.
It is a fun topic, but the hand size is basically like the height size for quarterbacks. And if you look at the Heisman winners over the last couple of years, and you look at the first picks overall over the last couple of years, Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray, height doesn't matter anymore, so neither should hand size.
Well said. What do you guys think? At GMFB with your answers. Now, one player who we won't get to see go through drills this week in Indy is Daniel Jeremiah's #1 prospect, Mr. Chase Young. He thinks he's the best player in the draft, and according to our Ian Rappaport, he's planning on working out at Ohio State's Pro Day. That is on March 25th, so set your calendars for that. But believe it or not, Kyle, Chase Young not participating in drills could impact his draft stock.
No, I think Joe Burrow's hand size will impact. No. By the way, Chase Young should just measure this morning's hand size. 12 3/4. What do you think of those?
Yeah.
No.
Kawhi Leonard.
It's a great move. Yeah, Kawhi. It's incredible. Chase Young should skip the combine, skip training camp, just show up for the playoffs. Like, he's that much of a lock. All he could do is hurt himself. You know, it reminds me a little of Jadeveon Clowney. Although Clowney coming out of college was so much based on 1 snap against Michigan, whereas Chase Young, everybody knew it all year.
Yeah.
The best player in the country. Maybe he'll go 2, maybe something crazy goes and happens 1. If he runs and he's like, wow, he looked a little sluggish, then he goes 7th and he costs himself $1 million.
Right.
Chase Young is in the driver's seat.
It's all in the tape?
Yeah, it's all in the tape. You can watch 1 series and you're like, oh, that's the guy. Okay.
It's all in the tape. It's all in the resume. It's what he's done before. You know, like, I'm a jumper. I've always been a jumper.
Yeah,
I could dunk and put my arm in the rim if I wanted to back in my younger days. But over the last couple of years, I would get called out when I walk in the gym because people are like, Nate, we heard you can jump. Go ahead and jump. I'm like, nah, you guys know what I can do. You've seen it before. I don't want to do this. I get talked into going and dunking. Now, the last couple times I got talked into dunking, I broke a couple of backboards.
I remember.
It's bad news. It costs a lot of money. So the point I'm trying to make is the only thing that can happen is a bad thing, like Kyle is saying. You go out there, maybe you're a little sluggish, or even tweak a hamstring. Yeah. You know what? Just check the tape. I've done it before. Draft me as high as you need to because I'm the best player.
Players. What was this experience back in 2003 like for you? You were there with Andre Johnson and Anquan Bolden. Tell us everything.
Well, I wore this shirt for a reason, this hoodie for a reason. Yeah. It's no gimmicks, right? It's the biggest job interview of your lifetime. And everything that you do is going to be exaggerated. If you're really good at something, people are going to notice that. But if you're bad at something, that's also going to get exaggerated. So go in there and try to attack something that you're really good at. I knew that I was a good route runner and I could jump. I was going to dominate those 2 things. And then after that, it was catching the ball well, making sure that I lifted well. And I was able to show everybody that I could be as versatile as every other receiver in the draft. And the last part of it is nailing the one-on-one interviews. If you're fortunate enough to walk in that room with the owner, GM, and all of those coaches, just be you. They want to see intelligence. They want to see a little charisma. And to be honest, they want to see a little cockiness. And if you can show them that, they'll walk away saying to themselves, if he's there when we want to draft him, we have to get him. That's exactly what happened with Minnesota.
Is that the most nerve-wracking part of the interviews?
No, the most nerve-wracking part was actually stepping on the field for the first time and seeing these individuals that you only heard about. I was in Nevada, the WAC conference, so I didn't play the big schools. I didn't see these guys till I went to the Biletnikoff Awards where I was up against Charles Rogers, rest in peace. But when I saw Andre Johnson, when I saw Anquan Bolden, and I saw some of the top receivers in the world, I'm like, damn, these guys really are good.
Andre Johnson, I'd be like, all right, I'm going home.
Right out of the like that's
like,
the man.
What?
Nate, you were not the finished product you are now. A young kid coming out of Nevada, very outgoing personality. You telling me you didn't show up at Indianapolis? A little social obligation, trying to party a little bit, or was you seriously locked in even at that young age?
Even at that young age. I was young. I was 21 years old. I stayed in my hotel. I didn't leave the hotel. My agent came to visit me. I sat there. I was practicing my 40, running up and down the hallway, trying to figure out how I can get the best explosion. The one thing that I did that I regretted was that people told me I was slight, which I was. I was a skinny kid, naturally. So I ate a lot before the combine. Every night I ate a lot, so I wanted to weigh in heavy. I weighed in at 207. I'm 200 pounds right now at 38 years old. So I should have just weighed in 190-ish and ran like a 4.3. Instead, I weighed in heavier than I ever been, and I was around a 4.45.
I also heard you say that you wish you were a little bit more, like you said, cocky when you were in the meeting.
I wish I would have told everybody how good I was. In 2003,
Great
I honestly
advice.
felt like I was the best receiver. I had the most numbers. Nobody could stop me. But I saw these other individuals, and to be honest, I was filled with anxiety because for the first time, living in my bubble of college, I knew I was dominant.
Yeah.
But then when I see the best receivers in the world, I started to question myself a little bit.
Let's look specifically now at this year's class. We wanted to showcase what skill sets differentiate one receiver from another. You can do that better than anybody, Nate. So if you had to pick one guy, we always talk about this, who has the best hands, which wideout would you pick?
A guy with one of the best names we've ever heard.
Go on.